you think it's fair to say that there's a second renaissance of Harlem going on?
Harlem has gone through many renaissance periods, but there's been other forces, economic forces, political forces that have stymied our growth. We've come together now because I think of our political power, clout, and expertise. And the administration, the federal administration, put in the necessary resources. And the state government that's matching those. For the first time, we have the monies to come in and to revitalize and to start up new businesses and to encourage young people to get involved in entrepreneurship that we didn't have before. And the mindset is of such that people want to live in this community. Crime is down, drugs are down, people feel safe, and other ethnic groups are recognizing the potential and the beauty of this community in terms of its transportation, in terms of its affordability, and they're moving back, and we all benefiting from that.
David, how would you describe Harlem right now?
You're speaking of the post-empowerment zone Bill Clinton Harlem?
Yes.
I think it's probably one of the most exciting places to be in the entire country from an arts perspective and from an economic development perspective. There's been an awful lot of capital plugged in, and I think it really creates a synergy with the history that Harlem has always had. And I think it's not only helping this community, but creating vehicles to bring resources within this community to other communities.
Well, one of the biggest misconceptions about Harlem is the fact that it's unsafe. Now that people are coming here that would have never lived here before, they're starting to realize and understand that that all was just a terrible myth, that it's unsafe to come here in Harlem, and that Harlem is a place for only African Americans or blacks. Everybody lives here. If you look around, there are brownstones here with our white brothers, our Latino brothers, Asians. You know, it's a family community. And Harlem originally, it wasn't a black community. Harlem originally was a Jewish community. Blacks started migrating to Harlem in the early 30s, and Jewish families started moving out, and African Americans came here to Harlem. They brought a different style of music, bebop, jazz, a certain style and flair and energy to Harlem. So African Americans just felt that it was theirs. It is a community comprised of all types of people, and everybody's treated as such. This belongs to everybody, just like New York and just like this world. It belongs to everybody. You can live whatever you want to live.
I think the Apollo is the soul of Harlem. The blade sign of the Apollo has been the symbol of Harlem since Langston Hughes walked up the hills of Harlem and wrote about it. It's really always been that symbol, where it was the only place back in the 30s that was truly integrated, that African American and Latino artists could come and see their counterparts on stage and could tell them exactly what they thought of their act and see what was coming up next in the world of performance.
Some of the famous names that have been here at the Apollo Theater: Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Gladys Knight, James Brown. So many of the oldies were here, and just recently we had Michael Jackson here performing for the Democratic National Committee. And I mean, Michael Jackson, he was here when he was a little boy. He did Amateur Night. You know, I was born and raised in Harlem, and the people who are, I've been all around the country, all around the world. I've noticed that people who are born in Harlem, born and raised in Harlem, have such an affinity for Harlem. I've written I've had 2 books published. I have another one coming out soon. All of them are set in Harlem. There's a community in Harlem that's not like any community anywhere else. You know, the black community Harlem is the epitome of Black America.
It is.
It really and truly is.
Performed at the Lenox Lounge?
Well, our most notable person is Billie Holiday, and her booth is right behind me here. But we've had Miles Davis in here, we've had Lou Donaldson, we've had Thelonious Monk, we've had Charlie Parker. Everybody's played in here, but it hasn't been like they had a gig here. They used to come here because originally this club was a club for whites and the musicians were black. So a lot of blacks weren't able to come here back in the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that. So we come full circle now where we have a diverse crowd.
I mean, one of the great things about the Lenox Lounge is it's been around forever. I can remember as a kid, as a baby, in my grandmother's house hearing advertisements for the Lenox Lounge. Well, you know, the strange thing is the Lenox Lounge came back around again when it was portrayed in the movie Shaft with Samuel Johnson. But for some of us, it never went away. You know, it's like it's always been there. It's like, but white people have discovered it, and because white people have discovered it, it's like, oh, the Lenox Lounge has come back. Where did it go? I mean, a lot of these clubs, they never went away. I mean, Harlem has never gone away. You know, people are discovering Harlem. Well, you know,
There's no discovery.
yeah, there's no discovery. We've always been here.
This is nothing new in Harlem, it's just new people. Everything, the vibes, the feeling, everything has always been here. It's just been covered up a little. Now they're pulling the cover off. It's gonna burst wide open now.
I let you give me in your kiss, but just because you're sweet, well, it's same up here. And every time you're there, I feel a thing. Something I'm screaming your name. That's what you got me on my darling now. Oh yeah, can't get enough of your love, baby. Oh yeah, I said I don't know how. Said I can't get enough of your love, baby. Say oh baby.
We stayed here during the time nobody would come to Harlem. Now everybody's coming to Harlem to purchase brownstones and open up businesses and whatnot, and I love that. I love that. That should have been all the time. But unfortunately, it wasn't because of a lot of reasons and whatnot. I would love to see all these people who are coming now come in droves because Harlem is the most centrally located place. The subways, the highways, everything. And I just love Harlem.
far as the community goes, I think Harlem is doing pretty well because it's so new and it's still not that many people here, but we all know each other. We all know the different venues or the bars or studios or galleries up here, so there's a good interaction. And now that a lot of downtown attention is coming uptown, it makes Harlem, gives you a sense of pride and excitement because you're here while it's happening again, because it's, you know, it's happened here before, so it's happening again. So this is a breakdance pad that's fashioned after a Buddhist mandala. So the idea is that the mandala, which means circle, is usually worshipped and drawn and prayed to, and it's sort of a means of transcendence. But I thought about an urban ritual that might be comparable, and breakdancing seemed to make sense because it's also circular based. And when I make the dance floor, I have dancers perform on it, and when they do circles, the circles echo the circles of the mandala. I found this on the side of the road in Maine, and the original poster actually says, "Today's Army wants to join you." So this was an old Army propaganda poster from the 70s, and I painted over it so that I can obliterate today's Army, and then I put metal letters to make it say he. He wants to join you. But if you flip it, it's a two-sided poster. On this side, it says, "They wants to join you." So when this is exhibited, it's shown so you can see both sides, so it's hanging in space, and then you can pick what side you end up looking at, and the idea is, you know, either he's trying to matriculate into the larger culture, or the larger culture is trying to matriculate into his subculture, and that's sort of what you see happening in the world. Not just with African Americans, but a lot of global culture. It's a lot of trade right now.
I came to Harlem because housing was cheaper, and I found a cool spot. Wow, Harlem gives me a sense of what all New York does really, but more of a sense because it's concentrated of history. I tell you, walk down these streets, sometimes I just imagine like when I'm walking down 125th Street, what Malcolm X thought. You know what I mean? While he walked through 125th Street, or what James Baldwin thought. You know what I mean? Whatever they did, Billie Holiday. What does she have to drink in the Lenox Lounge? And I get all of this, and it really hasn't changed because I hear that Harlem was one huge jukebox back in the day, and it still is today.
How bad is the drug problem in Harlem?
Well, honestly, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. It's just gone inside now. It's not so prevalent where you see it on the street, but it's still there. And as long as people can make money selling drugs, it's going to be there. So what we're doing is not in fashion or in vogue. It's something that's necessary, you know, as opposed to building prisons. If we had more rehabilitation centers and places where people could go and put themselves back together, then I think the society in whole would benefit from that.
I've never heard of anything like this, like a choir made up of ex-addicts.
Well, we like to say that it's a choir and voices that you and I have heard, if it had not been for God intervening and there in our lives. Mr. James Allen, who is our executive director and founder, kind of is not just a drum major or trying to put people back together again, but he goes around and he picks up people who have been discarded to the junk piles of humanity and people who don't believe in themselves, and he comes in and nurtures them and strengthens them and lets them go back. Most of the people have no professional training, and yet when you hear them, they sound like someone has thrown a speaker off the balconies of glory, and they sing like angels.
This is an international museum that is in Harlem, but is a museum that's always had an incredibly broad outlook, so that the work we've done here has always been about presenting the broad range of Black artists working. And certainly, even though Harlem is changing, I don't think our program will change to respond to it necessarily. I do think, however, that the changes in our program, it's focused now more internationally. It's focused now on taking on more conceptual thematic ideas like this one and examining them in the form of an exhibition, really speak to the museum's role as sort of the primary place for this kind of discussion about African American art and artists of African descent. And in Harlem's change now, and bringing more people here, it allows that dialogue to happen with a wider group of people. The museum was founded in the late 60s to address the exclusions that existed in the mainstream art world. The museum's primary function when it was founded was to write the history of African American artists and their great contribution to the story of American art. And the museum, in its first 30 years, did a fabulous job doing this in such a way that now we do understand that art history and we do understand that story. And the reason I did the show here was that, given that history, I was interested in the exclusions that were apparent even in writing that story.
All right, your space. Your huge, enormous studio.
I think artists used to be able to be in, the East Village, Lower East Side, Chinatown, and that's impossible. It's just too expensive a city. So, but that center is just expanding and expanding, so the periphery is getting farther and farther away, So we're lucky, really, I think, to have space right here, because I think it's disappearing fast. Like it did in Brooklyn, and the neighborhoods just keep growing. And
Yeah.
New York as an art city is changing in that way. So we're lucky. I actually think of it as a place where things happen, and in a certain way I sort of, I think of each of the layers and, these transparent layers that come on top of one another as periods of time. And, the characters have relationships to one another and I think of it as a cityscape, really, like where all these beings sort of participate in building or destructing things.
How will your work change, or has it changed since September 11th?
I think that it was really interesting because I was doing all this architectural drawing with explosions all through it, and I think that for me, that what happened September 11 and what has sort of what the situation that exists in the world right now, that's really what I'm interested in talking about in the painting. So it just paralleled a discussion that was already going on, and so it didn't really impact the work. It's not. I hope I don't make it differently, but that I'm trying to think of these as like paintings that talk about how we behave and how we respond to space and the culture and society that we build around us. So that's what I'm interested in the work. So it was just interesting that it happened more than it's changing how I think about making it or anything, you know?
Do you feel like a New Yorker as well as a Harlemite?
I'm a Harlemite by deliberate choice. I live in Harlem, I work in Harlem, I walk to work, and it's a great feeling to be able to meet people on the street who you meet at the barbershop. Harlem is the only place where you can run into your congressmen, your elected officials, the principal of the school, in the barbershops, in the drugstores, and it's a lot of people, but there's a great sense of communal living and community. And I enjoy that. The warmth of the Harlem people cannot be compared. We say uptown that we're uptown, but we're not uptight. And you haven't done New York until you come through Harlem.